Hello students, today's topic we are going to discuss regarding helminthic parasites of human. Previously हमने देखा था दो classes related to parasitic infection. उसमें mainly हमने general characteristics of parasites हमने देख लिया और second चीज़ हमने देखा था we had saw regarding protozoal parasites. So now we are going to see regarding helminthic parasites. So moving on to the topic, so parasites, particularly here they are called as trematodes, that is blood flucus. Trematodes, that is blood flucus, that is having different categories like blood flucus and liver flucus, liver flukes we can able to say. So which causes human, that is affect mainly on mesenteric vein damage, draining large intestine, then urinary bladder, then small intestine. So mainly it affects these three: bladder, large intestine, and small intestine. Then liver fluke will affect worm like in biliary tract and can be acquired by eating raw fishes. So this will be present. Then second one is cestodes. Cestodes, these are long tapeworms. We can able to say it as Taenia solium, or you can say granulosus. These are long, short tapeworm, so which is normally present in the uh, human by consuming like uncooked or undercooked porks or meat, like particularly from the beef or like pig and ox and cows over there. The next, nematodes. Nematodes are most common intestinal roundworms in humans. You can able to say nematodes. This will be a form of roundworm or hookworm, which will be present in GAC system, particularly in large intestine, small intestine, then lymph nodes. These are the areas where they will be present. So over this, commonly we are going to see helminthic parasites of humans. So helminthics are macroscopic multicellular eukaryotic worms. Helminthics are nothing but it's a worms, macroscopic multicellular eukaryotic worms. So life cycle are complex. Their life cycle are very complex. Then intermediate hosts are often needed to support larval stages. So here intermediate host where they has to be supporting them to cross over the larval stages. So three groups of helminthics are there. Or we can say simple form: tapeworm, fluke, and roundworm. So tapeworm are called cestodes, and flukes are called trematodes, and roundworms are called nematodes. So cestodes, trematodes, and nematodes. Tape, fluke, and round. These are the common ones. So over the cystodes, we are going to see regarding cystodes. Cystodes are tapeworm. So tapeworm infection or helminthic infection. In the is the infection of digestive tract by adult parasitic flat worms called cystodes or tapeworms. So here what happened? Live tapeworm larvae are sometimes ingested by consuming uncooked food. Once inside the digestive tract, once they reach inside the digestive tract, a larva can grow into a very large adult tapeworm. The larva is a smaller one, where the smaller one which will be furthermore grown into a bigger one. So this is most commonly usually कहाँ से मिलेगा ये uncooked unproperly cooked food से मिलेगा, particularly on the meat. Okay, so here mode of infection are most common tapeworm in human are the pork tapeworm. Pork means which is from the pig, pork tapeworm. The beef tapeworm which is from the beef, that is from the meat extracted from the ox or cow. Then the fish tapeworm and the draft tapeworm. So maximum these are for the non-vegetarians, those are consuming non-vegetarians. Then incubation period, it takes about 5 to 12 weeks of the worm to mature into adulthood in the human intestine. Incubation period is it takes about 5 to 12 weeks for the worm to mature into adulthood in the human intestine. So once it enter and reach the GI system, it takes about 5 to 12 weeks. So 5 to 12 weeks, which like around 1 month, near about more than 1 month. So takes around 3 months. Okay, so generalized life cycle of some of the tapeworms of humans. Generalized life cycle, if you're taking here, first the egg or the egg filled probiotics are passed into the environment in feces. So once the feces it has been entered, after that the feces was consumed by the host. The host particularly you can able to say the pig. The pig consumed those eggs. So egg hatched into the larvae that penetrate into the intestine. So once the pig consume that one, that will be hatched in the intestine of the pig. So where that will migrate to other tissues which is present in the pig's entire body. So particularly they will be deposited in the muscles. If you're seeing, they will be deposited in the muscles. So once again, I will clearly explain you. You can able to see first the first the main parasites they are developed in this and they will be forming the eggs. That eggs will be passed out in the environment. Okay, so from the environment those will be consumed by the pig. Example, you can take feces. Feces was consumed by the pig. So from the pig the eggs will be hatched and penetrates and migrate in the intestine and they settle down in the tissues of the larva of the muscles. Okay, then from there they will easily enter into the human digestive system. How the human will be eating the pork, so this will be present in the pig's pork. So where the human, if it is not cooked properly and contaminated meat, that will be injected by the human. So that will leads to entry of the microorganism into the GI system. So the Cystorius exist to become a chlorox that attach to the intestinal wall and mature. Attach to the intestinal wall and mature. वहाँ पर वो attach होकर फिर mature होना शुरू होगा. Once it start to mature, that will become adult worms and which forms a new proglottides. The proglottides are nothing but these are filled with eggs and egg filled protoglottids. So where the adult will once again it will lay or furthermore it will lay the eggs and furthermore the next process will start. So like this will start to increase in the body of the individual. Clear? This is the life cycle of the tapeworm. Symptoms क्या क्या symptoms हो सकता है? The common symptoms are, you can able to see here, the common symptoms are, the common symptoms are, you can able to see here. Usually शुरू में there will be no symptoms. Usually there will be no symptoms, but some people but some people experience upper abdominal discomfort. Upper abdominal discomfort में क्या क्या हो सकता है? Like diarrhea, then loss of appetite. Okay, after this too there is a possibility of anemia because people with fish tapeworm, this most commonly found that they are having anemia, which is mainly affecting the consumption or due to diarrhea and loss of appetite. Okay, infection is generalized recognized when the infected person passes segments of proglottides in the stool. That is, look like white color worm. Okay, white color worm. These are the common signs and symptoms we can able to identify. Then rarely worms may cause obstruction of the intestine. Very rarely. Okay, this larvae migrate to the brain, causes severe. If by chance these tapeworm are migrate to the brain, that may cause severe headaches, seizures, and other neurological problems. Okay, once it enters into the brain, this is called neurocystirosis. It can take years of development before the patient has these are those symptoms of the brain. So that much it won't go, but it happened rarely only. But mainly it will affect asymptomatic mainly, and it will affect only the intestine, and the possibility of the discomfort or diarrhea and loss of appetite. Okay. Next, we are moving to the treatment. Over the treatment, if you are saying tapeworms are treated with medications like taken by mouth. Usually it's a single dose. The drug of choice of the tapeworm infection is paraquintal. Paraquintal or niclosamines can also be used. They are anti-helminthic drugs, or you can say anti-helminthic drugs are given as a treatment. Next, we are moving to Ascaris lumbricoides. That is, Ascaris is a disease of human caused by the parasitic roundworm. Ascaris lumbricoides. So here, roundworms causes infection occurs by swallowing food contamination with Ascaris eggs and from feces. The larvae hatch in the intestine, burrow through the gut wall, and migrate to the lungs through the blood system. So by this will easily spread over. Its mode of transmission are the source of transmission is from soil and vegetations on which fecal matter contained egg has been deposited. Ingestion of ingested eggs from soil contaminated with human feces or transmission and contaminated vegetables and water in the primary route of infection. Mainly these are possibility are there, which are the root type of food like potato, carrot, like those vegetables more possibility are there where they can able to easily transmit it, because these are the most common. Its incubation period is 4 to 8 weeks. Symptoms are as larval stages travel through the body, they may cause visceral damage, then peritonitis and inflammation. Main symptoms are the incubation period is 4 to 8 weeks, and the main symptoms are, if you are seeing, the main symptoms are these roundworms are going to have a symptoms depends on the larval stages, how best they are traveling throughout the body. So over this, they will first cause visceral damage. Then from there they go for peritonitis and then inflammation, then enlargement of the liver and spleen. This mainly affect the liver. Okay, so this is the main affection. Then the worm is the intestine may cause malabsorption and anorexia, which contribute for malnutrition. So these are the two areas. The symptoms will be mainly seen in the livers and in the intestine. Liver and in the intestine, which will affect the individual within 4 to 8 weeks. Prevention and treatment. Prevention: use of toilet facilities, safe excreta disposal, protection of food from dirt and soil, thorough washing of procedure, then and hand washing. Food dropped on the floor should never be eaten without washing or cooked, particularly in endemic areas. Then fruits and vegetables should always be washed thoroughly before consumption. Or if possible, they can remove the skin and cut it into pieces and they can have that one. Then treatment: bupandazole, albendazole, and peprazine. These are the treatment. This is also options of anti-helminthic drugs. Okay. Then the next one is Wucheria bancrofti. Wucheria bancrofti. It is a parasitic filarial nematodes, or we can say once again roundworms spread by mosquito vector. These nematodes are spread by mosquito vector. It causes lymphatic filariasis. The disease called is filariasis, an infection of the lymphatic system by filarial worms. It looks like this. So incubation period. The incubation period is variable and often difficult to determine. Both microfilaria and adult worm have been observed in patients as early as 6 months and as late as 12 months after infection. Once upon a time, this was a very severe problem. We can able to say that elephantiasis. So where the legs or the hands that will looks like elephant legs. So where this is called filariasis disease condition. If the infection is left untreated, it can develop into a chronic disease called elephantiasis. Limited treatment modalities exist and no vaccine have been developed for this one. And it is one of the serious disease condition once upon a time where uh, the people used to suffer a lot. The severe symptom caused by these parasites can be avoided by cleansing the skin, surgery, or the use of therapeutic drugs such as diethyl carbamazine, then ivermectin, then albendazole. These drug of choice, however, is diethyl carbamazine is more commonly used. The next problem is myiasis. This is a parasitic infestation of the body of a live mammal by fly larvae. We can call it as maggots that grow inside the host while feeding on its tissue. So mode of transmission, there are three mainly fly families causing economically important meiosis in livestock and also occasionally in humans. So calliphorids, that is flow flies, and Ostridate, that is boat flies, then Sarcophagidae, that is flush flies. These are the flies: blowflies, boat flies, and flush flies. Symptoms are meiosis varies widely in the form it takes and its effect on the victim. Such variations depends largely on the fly species where the larvae are located. Some flies lay eggs in open wound. Other larvae may invade unbroken skin and enter the body through the nose or ears, and still other may be swallowed. So mainly this will be deposited on the animal body. From the animal body, if once the egg has been laid and that animal has been not properly cooked and eaten by the human, that will lead to the problem. Then first response of the treatment and control. First response to cutaneous meiosis: once the breathing hole has formed, it is covered to the air hole thickly with petroleum jelly. Lack of oxygen then forces the larva to the surface where it can more easily be dealt with. So, in a clinical or veterinary setting, there may not be time for such tentative approaches of the treatment. So, the larvae first to be eliminated. Second, the wound must be cleaned and disinfected clearly. So, by doing this one, we can able to solve the problem. So that means the human should avoid that the animal which has been having some wound or some cut, that those animals are they are not supposed to eat. Then second one, they has to clean it properly, the wound, and the animal has to be treated if the animal is having such kind of problem. Okay, so this is about helminthic infections. Thank you.